India's largest airline by market share, IndiGo, plans to overcome the supply chain challenges via wet leasing aircraft. Its CEO, Pieter Elbers, expects that additional demand would be generated by the upcoming Cricket World Cup as well as the festive season. This is Rohit for Financial Express.
Firstly, what's your view on the upcoming festive season? What kind of a demand are we looking at?
Well, I think the festive season always in India creates a lot of additional demand, and we see that nowadays with the growth of the economy, the fact that basically COVID is not just behind us, but it's far behind us, that everyone is starting to travel again. It was already happening last year, so the festive season in the calendar year 22, we already could see demand was coming back. Again, today we see that demand continues to be strong over the past months. We have recently had our first quarter, which was solid in terms of financial results, actually very solid in terms of financial results. And there's no reason why this peak season would not be a good season.
Recently, you have added more capacity via wet leasing of 11 aircrafts. Can you please elaborate on the fact that more capacity is being added in the understanding that the upcoming festive season plus the Cricket World Cup plus the peak travel season all coinciding at one point of time is going to create massive demand forward?
Yeah. Well, again, we have seen a very solid demand over the past months. Again, our first quarter result was good and was basically reconfirming that. The leases which we have now taken are actually primarily driven by the fact that we still have supply chain challenges. And in order to deal with these supply chain challenges, in fact, what we have been doing is getting some of these leases on hand. So that's a way for us to make sure that we live up with our capacity guidance. And just on the broader page, each and every quarter so far, we have been able to deliver up to our capacity guidance, which is very important. That means that we have given a certain guidance to the market, and thanks to all the mitigating measures, we've been able to live up to that. And these 11 planes are part of those measures. And as we expected, demand will be strong. Of course, we don't want to disappoint our customers by not having the capacity and the flights available. And you should, sorry to add to that, and you should have seen that we have added, actually for the festive season, we have added quite a few flights and new routes recently, because we expect that to be strong. And indeed the World Cup cricket is also an important part of that.
Some estimators have suggested that this year, because of the heavy pent-up demand led to passenger traffic growth, you might even cross the estimated 10 million passenger count that you achieved last year. What kind of passenger traffic are we looking for the entire 2023?
Yeah, I think I heard you saying 10 million.
Sorry.
It is either 10 crore or 100 million.
Yes,
So I would expect that this year, I mean, last year we did 86 million customers, which was already a very significant increase to the 74, 75 million we had prior to COVID. So it's one of the few airlines in the world and one of the few countries in the world, really, we are basically exceeding our pre-COVID demand. This year, the expectations which we have given as a guidance to the market was we hope to exceed 100 million customers. The first quarter results which have been published basically demonstrated that we're well on track in achieving that. And I would not like to give a sort of new guidance or new expectation, but reconfirm that we are comfortable in reaching that guidance going forward. Of course, aviation industry, it's always challenges, there's always new dynamics, but we feel confident that this 100 million target we can achieve.
And in terms of your recent articulations that the main strategy is to make IndiGo as one of the global airlines in the world, and you have been flying to the edges of Asia and now you have entered Africa. Are there any new destinations that you're looking forward to? And what about these destinations, the new destinations? What kind of response are you receiving for them?
Well, thank you for bringing that question. Again, I think IndiGo was particularly strong in the Middle East region, not so much outside yet. We have made really a bigger change, and that's where the word global comes in. I mean, it's not only new destinations. So yes, we have added new flights into Africa, which was an emotional and proud moment for IndiGo for the first time to fly to Nairobi. But also, for example, Singapore, we do fly now out of 7 different cities. In India, we fly into Singapore. So we're not expanding only new destinations, but we're also expanding some of the new routes there. So that's an important part of our strategy. 6 destinations were recently being added. Nairobi, Jakarta, Baku, Almaty, Tashkent and Tbilisi. And as from early October, we restart our flight to Hong Kong. So you see that we continue to expand our network there, and when the time is ripe, I'll disclose to you what are the new destinations after that.
Right. My last question is: have you started receiving PW engines from August onwards, and what is the kind of the number of engines that you have been receiving? Because as per estimates, the grounded aircraft, the number of grounded aircraft has bottomed out for IndiGo. Plus, you have added wet leasing capacity forward.
No, the number of planes being grounded is pretty similar to what we mentioned in the last earnings call. So that was in the range of the 40s as the number of planes being there. We receive planes, but they're always not to the extent which we want. So I think it's a bit too early, and we continue to work with Pratt. It's a bit too early to conclude whether things have bottomed out or not. We still have to await the exact consequences of the most recent announcements of Pratt a couple of weeks back. And we're basically speaking each and every day with Pratt to get more insights and more info on that.
Are those numbers in early, 5 or 6 engines per month, monthly number? Is that right?
We're not disclosing any precise numbers of engines we're receiving.
Thank you, Pieter.